Today we have Gavin Hewitson from Inbox, and he will be talking to us about how we can get paid to grow our mailing list. So, Gavin, please feel free to introduce
All
yourself.
right. Hello, everybody. My name is Gavin. I run an email and SMS marketing agency called Inbox, and we specialize in email marketing. But what I'm going to be running through and sharing today is more or less a personal strategy that I've used to sell digital products and sell them at scale in a way that allows me to get paid to grow the size of my mailing list that can then allow me to upsell higher ticket services down the road. This is not something my business traditionally offers. I more or less just wanted to put this presentation to just show you guys something cool that's worked for me, and then hopefully you can take some inspiration and implement it yourselves.
Amazing. That sounds great. And we've got the Q&A chat box there as well. If anyone wants to send in any questions, but I think Gavin does have like a little area at the end to answer questions, but feel free to send those through as they come.
Yeah, fantastic. Yeah, fire them through, and I'm more than happy just to like pause, answer some questions, and I'll stop throughout the presentation just to be like, hey guys, does that make sense? We might not go the whole hour, we might go 30, might go 45 minutes. So this is my first time running this specific presentation. So let's see how we go. I'm gonna quickly share my screen with everybody here, and just give me a thumbs up if you can see that okay. Fantastic. Let me just go ahead and do the presenter view. Got it. Oh, you guys can see behind the magic. 1 second here. Enter full screen mode. There we go. Fantastic. Getting paid to grow your mailing list with low ticket offers. So in this presentation today, I'm going to be talking about what a low ticket offer is, how to build your own offer, and then how to market that specific offer. And the reason we do this is because we want to be able to create a product that is going to open the door for us for future conversations with our ideal clients. So a little bit about me. So as you guys know, I run an email and SMS marketing agency. We are called Inbox. We are based in New Zealand, but I'm currently in Mexico City, believe it or not. So it is 4 o'clock in the afternoon, my time. I'm going to speak to this point too later on, but it is important for later in the presentation. But on my social media, across LinkedIn, Twitter, and YouTube, I have about 8,000 followers. And that is important because it's going to come back to the marketing side of essentially just marketing our digital products, our low ticket offers. And I used to do a bit of stand-up comedy. And the reason I say that is because it has helped me at least with telling like narrative stories within my social media marketing efforts. And that's going to tie in later on as well. So let's just get stuck in. This presentation. So who does it work best for? It's really, really going to work well for coaches, consultants, or business owners that sell a B2B service. But if you are in e-commerce, this can actually can I see in the comments, does anybody have like an e-commerce business or sell physical products online, not in like a coaching or consulting capacity? Just check in the comment section, just so I know, because I can add like a few notes throughout the old presentation. And I can see if I can read. Yes, wine, cool. Is there anybody else? Alrighty.
Yes. Yep. Someone sells wine.
Yes. Someone sells their time. Yeah, I'm a business owner and I sell my soul. So how's that? Alrighty. Yeah. All right, fantastic. So we've got a few people in there. Awesome. All right, well, I'll add some notes throughout this presentation because I have written this to be more specific to B2B and service providers, but there's ways that you can kind of play with this a little bit to do the exact same thing. So let's get into it. The tools you will need, social media, obviously. So that can be anything from LinkedIn, Twitter, an Instagram page, anywhere that you have access to an audience. A landing page builder. For those who don't know, a landing page builder is essentially a page on a website, and I'm going to show you an example of mine later on. It's a page on the website that gives like a bit of a run through as to what the digital product does, and then encourages somebody to opt in or go to a next step to purchase the products that you're selling. A Stripe account, for those who don't know, Stripe, it's just a payment processor. There's a bunch of payment processors out there. I've just found Stripe to be the most useful. We're going to use our Stripe account to actually take payments for the digital products that we sell. An email platform, so think MailChimp. MailChimp's a classic one. There's other ones out there like Constant Contact. There's other ones out there like Klaviyo. Those are great for delivering your digital product after it's been bought and capturing people's email subscriptions for future remarketing efforts. And I know some of you guys might find all this information like a lot. It's totally fine. You can shoot me an email after this or take notes. We can answer questions throughout. That's no problem. And then finally, a Google Drive account and a link. So Google Drive is basically, it can be like Dropbox as well, but essentially it needs to be a place that you can store your digital product that people can access via a link, because you're going to want to give them. So this is how it works. You go social media, you promote it, they go to a landing page, you take their payment, you email them the digital product, and you email it through this link. That's the steps that we're going to need. Now I'm going to go through the process a little bit further on this presentation. So don't worry if you're a little bit confused on the order or where we put all this stuff. So
feel free to take a screenshot now if you need to go back.
Yes, 100%. Yeah, make sure you get my face in it too. I want that brand recognition. Step 2. So, or rather, why do we create a low ticket offer? So personally, I created a low ticket offer because, like I said, I wanted to talk to people who are qualified and have demonstrated that they're willing to pay for a solution to a problem that they have. So it's a lot different from somebody who wants it for free. So somebody who's willing to pay even $1 to solve a problem that they have is infinitely more valuable to you as a business owner than 10 people who want it for free to solve that exact same problem. And you'll notice, like for me personally, I would rather have a list of, now there's a place for the free stuff as well, right? Like a free lead magnet, there's a place for that. But, and I'll speak to it once again a little bit later on, the amount of effort and work we're gonna put into trying to get people who bought our low ticket offer onto the phone to buy a high ticket offer from us, it's not worth it doing it for people who just opted in for free. It's only worthwhile for those who did it for paid. And so that's why we want to create a low ticket offer. Now, what is it, right? So a lot of you are thinking like, okay, well, what does that actually mean for me? It can be a course, it can be coaching, it can be a PDF guide, it can be anything really that you can create and then sell for a lower price comparative to your main offer. Now, for the purpose of this example, I want us to kind of steer away from coaching. Priority number 1 is having an offer that can scale, which means we can create it once and sell it many times over. And so I know somebody in the comment section mentioned that they sell their time. And here's the issue with selling your time is you have a limited amount of it. And so you want to be able to create a product that you can sell for $20 and you can do it once and you can sell that product 1,000 times over. If you do it with coaching, you will find that your calendar fills up really, really quickly. And for it to be worthwhile after a certain point, it's no longer a low ticket offer, right? Like if your hourly rate's like $500 an hour or $500 for, once your calendar starts getting filled up quite a bit, it probably should start getting to that kind of realm. It's kind of defeating the purpose of like opening the door for future conversations. So you want a product that you can sell for cheap and at scale. And we're going to use the systems and processes that I mentioned before, like the email platform, the Drive link, the landing page, to help us with that scale process, to help us with distributing it to a lot of people at once, right? So scale is a big, big thing for us. Some examples, right? So one of my friends, she's a relationship coach, and she's created a downloadable PDF on compatibility. So you can pay $1 to get the downloadable PDF on compatibility. And what that tells her is that somebody is having an issue with compatibility, right? Finding a good partner. And she knows that they're willing to pay money to solve that problem, which means they are an ideal client to her. Another example, a media buyer's step-by-step audit process for Amazon ads, right? Totally different industry, but it's a step-by-step process and a guide that speaks to their clients' problems. In my case, I created a guide, literally this presentation right now, a guide on how to create digital products and sell them, right? This is the exact presentation I'm giving right now. And there's 3 parts to creating your offer. So stage 2 is actually creating the actual offer itself. With these offers, you want them to over deliver on value. They want to be scalable. And I hope I spelled scalable wrong. And then they need to be for your customers, not your peers. And this is a big one that I think a lot of people mess up, but I'm going to go through these once again. So I've already gone over the scale side of things. And then on the over deliver on value side of things, you want it to be, so for example, my board, that thing that I mentioned just before, the product that I sell it for $15, right? And in my mind, the value that somebody gets from that it's worth way more than $15. But I'm not trying to make my profit on the sale of that one item. I'm trying to over deliver on value so that in the future, when it comes to selling my high ticket item, I've endeared myself to the individual, I've proved my expertise, and I've also like put the notion in like, hey, if this person paid, or it's like, hey, I bought this for $15 and I got so much value, how much value am I going to get for $3,000, $4,000, $2,000, right? The idea of like, this guy knows what he's talking about. He's willing to give me so much in exchange for so little. If I spend a little bit more, I'm going to get so much more. And they all, right? And so you need to be able to over deliver on value to really establish yourself. And there's an argument for having digital products that are $1, right? It takes away the ability for that digital product to become like a really viable passive source of income, but it opens the door to an easier close in the future for the high ticket sale in the future. That's what I found with mine. The big one here is making sure your product is for your customers and not your peers. This is something that I messed up first when I went to create my first digital product, right? Because I'm a subject matter expert. I went and created this super in-depth guide on how to create email automations that did a bunch of really cool, super valuable, but super advanced things that business owners didn't need to know, nor did they care about, but other email marketers did want to know. And what happened was I ended up selling these digital products to a bunch of people who would never buy my high ticket offer in the first place because they just go and sell it onto their client themselves. They're just learning how to do stuff for themselves. And it's a really important distinction. And so I think it's like, to me, it speaks to the depth that you want to go in with these digital products. Now, I'm just going to take a little break. Does that make sense to everybody? Any questions in the old chat before I go on to the next step? Fantastic. They've all left.
Yeah, nothing coming for the moment, but that totally makes sense to me. And I actually really love that for your customers, not your peers, because I think that that's something that, yeah, people, oh, sorry, we've had a question. Oh, no, it's crystal clear over here.
Cool. Awesome. Yeah. I think
sorry,
it happens
we have
all the
one
time.
Question come through. I'm just wondering how that would apply to e-com physical products.
Yeah, great question. So for e-com, and thank you for reminding me of that. For e-com physical products, let's say when it comes to building the size of your email list, there's 2 ways. You can sell for the wine as an example, right? A low ticket guide to qualify to figuring out what wines you're most suited to, something along those lines, or even like a low ticket offer that is a loss leader. So a lot of like software services run these kinds of things where you actually try and sell your first product just at a break even point. So instead of it being like a digital product, if I'm just using the wine as an example, you sell a bottle of wine just at break even costs and hope, or rather make sure that you ensure that the wine is good enough and you have enough of a sequence to follow up with the individual that you make your margin back on that second or third or fourth sale. And you'll notice a lot of e-commerce businesses do this, and it's actually advisable running a like a 10% off. You go onto a website, we all see it, right? 10%, 15% off, right? And a lot of times people get a little bit hesitant about compromising on their margin for making that first sale. And in reality, if we make an analogy to B2B, people are compromising on their time to make that first sale. Just two different compromises that we're making. As an e-commerce business, I do actually recommend either A, selling that low ticket offer, or B, getting them into your list to with a lower ticket offer, it being 10% or 15% off. And the idea is, now that they're in your database, your email database, it becomes a hell of a lot cheaper to market to them in the future because you already have them in there. They've placed an order, you know they're a high intent customer, and you're probably, unless you're doing retargeting ads or something like that on the ad side of things, it's going to be a lot cheaper to get that second sale across the line. Does that make sense? How would you know it's the first sale? We do it with 10%. Okay, yeah. So first of all, you can just match. So first of all, you can have like a coupon code, right? That is valid for first time use only. So one coupon code per household. Obviously, people can like share those coupon codes around. That's just part of the e-commerce business. It's just inevitable unless you use unique coupon codes, which you can do. I can get really into the weeds of this. Sidran, are you using Klaviyo? Are you using Shopify? What are you guys doing for that? And the reason I ask is because there's a process for creating those codes, and depending on what kind of model you want to go down. But
yeah. We've got someone who uses WooCom.
WooCom, okay, cool. So you can use static discount codes or unique discount codes within WooCom as well. And if you're using email marketing, which you probably are, and you're creating some sort of offer that way, Klaviyo or MailChimp will allow you to create those. I'll come back to that. We use coupon codes, but not individual ones. Yep. So you can create static ones, or you can create unique ones. Unique ones would, just limit. You'll know it's the first purchase by just limiting the use per email profile to one per person. That's how you'll know. Cool. Now, I'm going to quickly push through onto this guy right here. So I want to speak a little bit more to the, for your customers, not your peers. An example, how to find the best piston for your Ford V8 Mustang. Probably speaking to an incredibly niche form of hobbyists or actually mechanics versus guide to finding the right family car in 2024. If you're like a car salesman, for example, odds are you're going to want to go to the second one here. Of course, if you're like a digital course creator selling specific to mechanics, a little bit different. You're going to go a little more specific, but it's just about finding like the right balance between giving enough value and ensuring that somebody can learn from the digital product that you sell, but also ensuring that you're not going like too in the weeds where it just becomes overwhelming for the reader. So how I created my offer, and this is just from my personal experience, and this is probably what I recommend most B2B professionals do, is I figured out what I was good at. So obviously it was email marketing, but then I went a layer deeper rather. And I was like, okay, so what am I really good at? I'm good at marketing, and I'm good at setting up automations and creating products for my clients. So I'm really good at that stuff. And I also figured out what my clients always had questions about, right? So I would talk to a lot of B2B service providers. I'd talk to a lot of coaches and consultants. And they'd be like, listen, I just don't know how to get past that initial hurdle of either A, getting more clients, growing the size of my database, and doing so while like not spending a whole lot of money on ads. So like, okay, so I have those two skills. I'll just go ahead and design a product and answer those questions that would lead to more work in the future. And so the idea is I created a roadmap, and if you want me to implement that roadmap, that's where I make my money, right? So roadmap and then implementation of it is a totally different equation. Now, one reservation that I've had people ask me is like, well, hey, Gavin, like if someone's only paid $1 for my digital offer, that seems like it's incredibly like way cheaper to your $4,500 implementation fee, right? Like that discrepancy right there disqualifies a lot of people. And I would say yes, there's an argument there, but I would also say just the demonstration of somebody willing to spend money on solving a problem instantly qualifies the person significantly more than, say, either A, running a free campaign, so free lead board, or B, also just putting money behind ads to get people to make that same purchase. So I think, don't be too hesitant about like, oh, there's a massive price difference here. And at the end of the day, right, like you should only be selling to people who you can actually demonstrate a massive impact for. And so the price to value discrepancy always needs to be there anyway. So like for me, like I wouldn't sell like a $4,500 service that's only gonna increase somebody's $10,000 a month e-commerce business margins by 10% because it's going to take a long time for them to pay off for that service. So that's what I have to say to that. In my case, I created a tool that highlighted every automation. Yeah, so on and so forth. You guys have seen all that stuff. Push through. Yeah, there we go. So now we have a product, right? So we figured out what we're good at, we figured out what problem that we can solve, and we've created like a digital product around that. Once again, it can be like a PDF guide. It can be a audit for somebody. It can be I try to steer away from coaching, like one-on-one coaching. But if you are a coach, you can create, I've seen people be like, well, the relationship coach, that example works super well as well. Now, you've got your product. Now you want to start building your funnel. And a funnel is essentially a process that somebody goes through, going from like awareness all the way to making that purchase. And this is how I built my funnel. In exchange for this, I want this. So you want to capture people's email addresses in exchange for access to be able to pay. Okay, so it's this little distinction there. You are getting people's email addresses in exchange for access to be able to pay, right? Because you'll notice that if you only get their email address when they pay, there's quite a bit of drop off in between that. And so you want to be growing your list as much as you can. You're only going to be really working the purchasers, but this is how we're getting paid to grow our list, right? You're getting people into the opt-in page, and then you're going to give them the payment link. And I'll show you how that works. Here's my landing page. Super, super simple. There's my goofy looking face right there. 500 different, this is an example of an offer that we did. 539 different email and pop-up form templates. If you want access, enter your name, your email address. This is using a landing page builder. And then we capture that email address for remarketing in the future through email. So we're growing our list and we're going to do remarketing in the future. And then we're going to take them to a paid spot through Stripe. So you can create like a digital product. That's stage 4, creating your sequence. So after they opt in that landing page, they click that button, we get their email address, and then we take them to a Stripe landing page. Now, I've gone a little bit vague on like the crazy technicalities we need to go into in terms of setting up the email software, all that kind of stuff, because that can be like a whole other lesson in itself. But once again, shoot me an email. More than happy to give some like tips and tricks on how to do that. But once somebody fills in their information, take them to the Stripe page, the checkout page, and attempt to collect payment. After they pay, we give them the product via email. So that's your Klaviyo, Constant Contact, your MailChimp. So here's how please ignore that. So I'll show you how my process works right after stage 5 here. But you want to have that infrastructure set up. So you have the offer created, you have a landing page that you're pointing people to, and then once they opt in, you take them to a Stripe payment page, they pay, and then you send them to them via email. And then it comes down to distributing your offer. So how we get our offer actually out there. And this is where it kind of ties back to the social media side of things that I mentioned at the very, very start. Anywhere you have an audience, share your offer. So personally, I do LinkedIn, I do Twitter, and I do YouTube. And so on those 3 places, I just talk about my offer, I reiterate what it does, and I give them the link to that landing page on all of these social media platforms. You might only have one, right? You might only have Instagram. Put it in the link in your bio, put it in on your stories. Twitter, same thing again, put it in your bio. Every bottom section of your YouTube videos, have a link to that offer. Just reiterate it everywhere and anywhere. Really important, I think. Personally, I found a lot of success doing it on in my bio for my LinkedIn. That way, even after I'm done posting about it, if I start talking about other stuff in the future, what it does is it has like a static link that people can always kind of go back to and see that it's still there. And then it just keeps the traffic coming through that funnel. So it's just forever there. So step one, this is an example of the whole process, right? This is my Twitter. I just made a post, right, about my product. If they just commented on this Twitter post, I'd send them the link to my landing page. So they go to a landing page like this. And then after signing up, takes them to the Stripe page. And then we give them an email, right? So this is using Klaviyo. That Stripe link automatically triggered the email. So now we're growing our list, right? So we've just been paid to get a subscriber into our list. We haven't paid any money for it. We're just getting organic traffic into our list. We give them that, and now we have them. So now they're in our database. We can market to them again in the future. And we also have captured key details. For example, we've got their email address. We probably know their name. Stripe will probably tell us what their phone number is if we enable that. And we can do a bunch of cool stuff with that afterwards. The high ticket sale. So this is where we actually make our money. And the lead list that we're going to work is anybody who's paid for this. These are the people we're going to focus on, not anybody who's entered their details here. Slight distinction, because you're going to get a lot more people that enter their details here than you are right here. Because you're going to get probably like 20 to 30% of people who click this, it's going to vary from person to person, are actually going to pay. And these are the people here that you want to try and turn into high ticket sales because they've qualified themselves. They've told us that they're interested in buying something, right? And they have a problem that they're willing to spend money on solving. And so this is where it comes into. You just want to work the list. All you're trying to do is get them on a phone, get them in a meeting. I do a lot of stuff where I just say, hey, like I've sent everybody who's bought this a personal email. I say like, hey guys, I say, hey, just want to make sure everything's okay. If you have any questions on this board, more than happy to just jump on a quick 15-minute call and run you through some strategies I've seen work, or we can just go over like what your business does and how you can best implement this stuff. And I'm willing to give my time away for free to these people because I know they're willing to spend money on solving a problem, not these people. And this is why I separate it between paid and free. There's a place for paid and there's a place for free. I like to spend the majority of my efforts and my work in terms of trying to get that high ticket sale when it's like personalized outreach. So you'll see right here, I've just got a list of emailing manually, calling them, messaging them on socials. I like to spend my time, like this time here, on people who've paid because they've demonstrated they have like a lot more of a problem. And that's like the big distinction between paid and free. And you're working your list. Now, it doesn't mean you don't email the people who've opted in for free in the future. You do. You can just do regular campaigns. And if you only got like 10 or 15 people, by all means, sure, work every single one of them. But you'll find like as you grow, like for me, I've got about 600 people that we just jumped into our list as a result of like a recent campaign. I don't have time to hit every single one of those people up, but I do have time to get in contact with about 30 or 40 people who did pay and they're worthwhile. And all you're trying to do is get them into a meeting room with you. So whether it be virtual, whether it be in person, you can say something like, hey, I can see you're in XYZ area. And you can figure that out by adding a field within your landing page. I can see you're in this city. I'd love to grab a coffee on me. If you're interested, let's chat. And that's all you're trying to do. Yeah, and this is the difference, right? The reason I work paid versus free, because it comes down to a resource allocation thing, time. I just don't have enough time to work every single lead. Yeah, well, hopefully you now have a low ticket offer that you can sell or give away, a funnel, and a list of leads that you can work. And so now we have those leads, that database in our list that we can keep marketing future low ticket items to or working manually. And that's got to be in record time, huh? 30 minutes. All righty. Questions, ladies and gentlemen. I hope that all made sense. I know that was like quite a bit of information, and I am more than happy to give this presentation out to anybody and everybody. Actually, I'll probably give it to you, Holly, afterwards to just feel free to distribute to everybody.
I'll send it to the SVP list for sure.
Yeah, awesome. Yeah, any questions, guys?
Any questions, guys? This time to you.
But yeah, this is the process that I've gone through to grow my own list. And it's just speaking from personal experience. Like, off the back of this, Holly and I were talking about, there's nothing actually, I feel like the term passive income is thrown around a lot, and I don't think there's too much out there that's truly passive, but we have a steady stream of income that comes in from this method.
How long has it taken you to really grow this to become a
Yeah,
success,
okay.
please?
Great question. So I'll throw some numbers out there just in terms of like revenue wise. So we generate, and this is NZ dollars a month, about $1,000 a month through selling these digital products.
Mhm.
And it's the thing that takes the longest is actually building the audience, like building the funnel, creating the digital offer. Like I will admit the digital products took me like a long time to create just because I wanted to really over deliver on the value. But once you have the digital product, it takes you like 2 or 3 days to build the entire funnel of like, 2 hours a day of work. It's the audience side of things that takes a while, right? And this is why I think it's so important. Everyone, you see it all the time, right? People talk about personal branding, and we all get super nervous about posting on Twitter, on LinkedIn, because it's cringe. I get it, but I have found that like the earlier you start, and you don't even have to like come across what I've found super successful for building my audience, and this can be a totally different conversation, is just sharing the process of me building my business, not actually trying to. If you follow me on LinkedIn or you follow me on Twitter, you'll see that like maybe 20 of my the topics that 20% of the topics that I talk about are um, are talking about email marketing. The rest is just struggles that I have with running a business, struggles with staff, things that I've learned from like a payment processor that went wrong. And it's really just about sharing a journey. People love hearing like a story and a journey. And I've been posting on LinkedIn pretty much every day for the last 2 years, Twitter for the last three to 4 months, YouTube once a month for a year. And it's just like it's just chipping away. But I will say I have a very small audience. Like I said, like of only 5,000 on LinkedIn, 2,400 on Twitter, and a couple like 500 on YouTube. And with that small following, we're able to generate $1,000 a month of low ticket sales. And the focus here is that's not what the goal. I'm not trying to build passive income, if that makes sense. I'm trying to build a system that allows me to easily upsell my higher ticket items in the future. So that low ticket sale of the $5, like the thousand that we're generating, it's great. That's awesome, but that's not the focus for us. It's the implementation, and it's the ability to prove my skills and demonstrate a bunch of value for the future higher ticket sale. And I haven't been able to calculate how much we've generated off of high ticket sales from the low ticket offers, but I would say it's a pretty significant amount.
And also, just how great is that you get an extra $1,000 a month for that's just a byproduct
It's awesome.
of growing.
Yeah, it's great.
Yeah.
Yeah, my landlord loves it. Yeah, yeah, 100%.
Good.
So
we've had a question come through. So preferred service like MailChimp or other, and it's a great question, and to just kind of like what kind of tools or technologies you can recommend that have been instrumental in helping you scale.
Yeah, 100%. So when it comes to email, MailChimp's fine. It'll get the job done. I'm not a huge fan of its user interface. Personally, I use Klaviyo, which is Klavyo. I use it personally just because I work with a lot of e-commerce brands, and we do all their email marketing. And Klaviyo is just a nice, easy to use interface, and it integrates with Stripe as well, which is really important. When it comes to the landing page builder, I use a software called Unbounce. But if you look up actually, I will say Unbounce is the easiest one I found. It's super drag and drop, super intuitive, and I kind of suck with a lot of that stuff. So ease of use for me is priority number one. And I'm sure there's softwares that are like 10% faster, get a conversion rate of maybe 0.5% more, but we're all dealing with relatively small audiences. And so for me, like I just go for speed at the moment, and ease of setup and ease of use over the thing with the most gadgets, right? It's like To be honest, this iPhone, it has so many tricks and things that I don't even really need. I could probably get away with a cheaper phone, but it's a kind of, that kind of thinking there.
Yeah, and I think it's key to just keeping things simple and easy when you're starting.
Yeah, yeah, 100%, 100%. It's like I feel like just get version one done, see what works, like, or see if you have any major mess ups. Like, oh my God, I couldn't even get a Stripe account sorted. It's like, okay, well, just get the fundamentals down. So,
Yeah.
something to create, you can Canva to create a digital guide.
Mhm.
You can just, I really recommend, like, I think a lot of people think you can create like a really, excuse the language, like crappy digital product and then sell it and just churn them out. But I really want to stress over delivering on value is so important here because once again, we're trying to set ourselves up for the high ticket sale in the future. And so if somebody feels like they've been shortchanged with the low ticket offer, they're going to get pissed off and they're not going to buy your high ticket offer. So over deliver on that low ticket sale.
Yeah, absolutely. And we've had a question from Sarah. Would you recommend using this approach for a service business offering some sort of advice that can help a potential customer?
So, okay, Sarah, just to clarify, are you saying creating a approach to sell a low ticket offer to a business that would then help their customer, or are you saying create a approach? Yeah, I'm assuming that's the case. And if that's the case, yes, 100%. Yeah. So for sure, right? Like anything that gives value to a potential customer that you can create that is scalable, that is over delivers on value and is for your customer and not people who service your customers, then yes, I highly recommend using this strategy. I mean, it's worked for me. This is the thing. Like, this is not a traditional service that I don't really sell this as a service for my own business. It's just something that
Mhm.
I've seen that has done well for me.
Yeah, exactly. Huge value there, I think. Were there any more questions wanting to come through? So, Gavin, how can people get in touch with you in the future?
Yes. LinkedIn, Twitter. LinkedIn's probably best. My email address is gavin at in-box.co.nz. If we could include that on the email, Holly, that would be awesome.
Absolutely. Yeah.
And you can get in touch with me on my website. We got a new website that took like 7 months to build, which is amazing. And so you can check us out on the website there. But yeah, I think I'll give you some links after all this to kind of reach out. And yeah, hey, shoot me a question. Like, more than happy to chat. Happy to jump on like a 15-minute call and kind of run you through a little bit more in depth. Perhaps like how to integrate your Stripe to your MailChimp, all that kind of good stuff. Yeah, so shoot me a message. My calendar's definitely open for you guys.
Perfect. Amazing. Thank you so much for coming in, sharing your mahi with us. That's been super valuable. And I will send out that presentation to everyone that's joined us today. And feel free to get in touch with Gavin as well. But if there's any other questions that have come through or you'd like to talk to our support team, you can find us at support@digitalboost.co.nz. So Gavin, thank you so much for your time today. That was, yeah, extremely valuable. Thank you very much.
Cool. Awesome. Lovely meeting everybody. Bye.
See you later. Thank you.